Hi everyone, this is Sandy Alt reporting from the wild, and this is the audio podcast companion to my blog on Substack. This is episode 4, The Sound of Silence, and then the hissing. Hello, darkness, my until recently mostly silent friends. For over 2 months I have been calling out to you, sending sonic probes into deep space to see if there was any life out there. Just in case you were listening, I told stories, sent them out to awaken you, and also hopefully soothe you. Even more optimistically, perhaps to give you some courage to come back from wherever you had retreated to for shelter. I had begun to think we had lost you, until some of you began to make some noise this week. It hasn't helped that for nearly 3 months we have also experienced a near vacuum of leadership and strength from those we did manage to elect to defend our democracy. At least that's how many of us felt until this week, when the horror of our situation began to wake those electeds up, and many more who had gone into hibernation. If you're already awake, aware, making some noise, and moving into action, the following story may not apply to you. But feel free to take what you like from it and use it on your friends who are still afraid to come out and roll up their sleeves. If you are still finding yourself unable to or uncertain how to engage, today I'm going to do something my old friend Roberta used to do with me. When she saw me mired in disbelief or just failing to act because I didn't feel equal to the situation, she would look me right in the eye and say, "I'm gonna take the kid gloves off with you now." And then she would break through all my denial, blind thinking and stalling, and give me the verbal equivalent of Cher's smack to Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck, along with its perfect poetic line, "Snap out of it!" Roberta had the keen eye to see in me a too frequent reluctance to deal with reality, and she had the courage to confront it. I loved her fiercely for it. She made me better. And that's where I think I might need to pull a well-meaning but potentially harsh two-handed Roberta on some of you and try to stick the landing. To do this, by now you know how this goes, right? I'm going to start by telling you a story. Because in addition to teachers like Roberta who have helped me grow, I have learned some wisdom from being in the wild. This tale is about a time just a few years ago when I was hiking with my wolf companion Chaco in the foothills of the Rockies on a trail that led between slabs of uplifting red rocks to a pinnacle with a breathtaking view over thousands of acres of undeveloped rolling mountain meadows and forested slopes. On this day, a beautiful blue sky stretched above us, dotted with a few cotton puff clouds. The sun warmed us, and the birds, as they usually do when the wolf enters their territory, had gone silent in the nearby trees. I stopped to drink in the tranquility. I had things on my mind, and the problems I had carried when we started this hike had begun to unravel and dissipate. I felt an exhilarating sense of clarity about one issue in particular that had been troubling me for days. This is the gift of both beauty and silence. As I took a sip from the valve on my hydration pack and prepared to share some with Chaco, he suddenly bolted to the rear, his lead tugging me back a few feet on the trail to where he made his retreat. And then I heard it. The low, percussive rattling sound that grew louder and erupted into a piercing hiss. The rattlesnake was right there, not 3 feet off the path from where I had formerly stood, coiled up to strike. The snake's head rose higher, as did the volume of hissing and rattling, a forked tongue pulsing rapidly out between the viper's frightening fangs. Chaco and I backed slowly away, then turned and bolted back down the trail to a fork where we paused to recover our breath. Now that I was awake to the very real danger in the way we'd been headed, I was forced to choose another path, or give up and go home. I was not going to go back home because a viper had taken over a section of the trail. We took a longer, harder way because we had to. It took some strategic backtracking, more climbing, more time, more effort, and more teamwork. But we got to the pinnacle. I thank Chaco for saving me that day. Sometimes you need someone to give a big tug on your proverbial leash, or, as Roberta would do, take off the kid gloves and give you that verbal smack and help you redirect. So let's do this. If you've been licking your wound since last November, okay, you did that, but now snap out of it. Or if you think you can go on with all your plans just like you always have, la 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 la, you now know that you can't do that, right? Think of France and Germany when the Third Reich was taking over, and start making other plans. Or if you've been twiddling, stop. Stop whining. Even worse, stop making small, impotent posts and pledges on social media that serve only to make you feel like you're doing something. Stop making little snarky jokes that point to the other side's stupidity. The threat is real. They know better than most Americans what is really going on here right now. Spend your snark and joke rations helping people realize what is happening, not joking about it. The slithering things are trying lots of stuff, yes, and some of it isn't initially flying, but they have been planning this for decades. And they have a lot of very clever people who know that once is never enough to push through some of this cruelty, and chaos works to their advantage. They are committed to continuing until they have deleted our democracy. Do not do shit that involves looking away, that minimizes or jokes about where we really are. Haven't I warned you about getting distracted? And if you've been indulging in none of the above, but simply sitting contemplatively in the silence so you could gather your strength, then for frack's sake, wake up now! Because the snake is coiled up and already striking. It's time to get moving. The threat is real. Time to snap out of it. The vipers have already poisoned the veins of our democracy with lies, struck repeatedly at it with illegal orders. They are choking it with unqualified, illegitimate cabinet members, with thieves and oligarchs claiming power. They've sunk the fangs in with orders to defund the government, while escalating their grift and corruption and nepotism and cronyism, summoning more vipers by pardoning criminals and abolishing justice, and slithering about, endangering our citizens, our allies, and our future, hissing about how democracy is so over and what we need is a dictator. On the ground, wherever you are, find some place to get in the fight. Join your county Democratic Party. Call all your elected representatives and keep the pressure on them to stand up and oppose, not to cooperate or capitulate. Run for office, any office. Start or join an indivisible group. Volunteer for a legal aid group, a shelter, a food bank. Find out how to help protect immigrants in your area. Stay informed and hold up the truth and suffer no one's lies or bullshit without countering with facts. Connect with those in your community who are already back to the battle. Support good sources of truthful media and cancel your subscriptions for those outlets who lie, minimize both sides, and/or capitulate to the head of the snakes. Engage and bring others along with you. And even if we have to do a lot more climbing or take a longer route, we will find a way forward together. Wherever you're at right now on the trail, I hope you will stay alert, follow the wisdom of our wise teachers speaking out today, and those who showed so much courage before us in defending our democracy. And take steps to help ensure that it survives the onslaught of the oligarchalypse. This has been Sandy Alt reporting from the wild. You can read and subscribe to the companion blog to this podcast on Substack. Take care.